Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Baumeister.
And we've got a Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. As we all know, preview season started today for Zendikar Rising.
Yeah.
That means it's going to be a couple days before we can sink our teeth into it and start diving into those. So we got one more day. We've been doing a lot of Modern recently on Versus. We've been having a good time with it, and we decided to let y'all have a good time with it as well. Took some user-submitted decks over the last 4 or 5 days.
And they were wild.
Yeah.
They were wild.
Submitted one. We have selected 6 of our favorites.
Yep.
And we are going to battle with some just nonsense.
Absolute nonsense,
Yes.
yeah. Do we remember who has won our user shows so far?
I have no idea.
God, I don't. I think
Chat, let us know.
we've done 2.
Yeah,
we've done
this is
2.
the
I
third.
want to say we were split, but we'll say it for the sake of the show. But yeah, a lot of really cool decks and a lot of really cool information today as far as new standard cards, new sets. Like I'm on information overload from checking that out. So
Yeah.
we got some exciting shows on the horizon. That's for sure.
So
The modern horizon.
Yes. We will be playing Modern today. Feel free to ask about new cards and
Yep.
that kind of stuff. These decks are going to be fun. It's going to be a nice, lighthearted show.
Yes.
I'm going to be starting with a deck that I couldn't really resist playing. This is an offshoot of the Orzhov Luris Copter deck I played in Modern a couple months ago.
Nice.
It is a mono black version that's a little bit more, synergistic, focused on its own thing with Archfiend's Vessel and Call of the Dark Dweller and Unearth.
Okay.
So that aspect of it, a little bit less disruptive. So hopefully we can do some cool stuff. This one comes to us courtesy of @BearMace316, who also won the secret Have the Best Twitter Name competition.
Yeah. I was just commenting on his Twitter handle when he messaged on our Twitter, on our news link.
Of course, there are no
On top of
prizes
that.
for that competition, but still,
You win in our
winning
hearts.
is your own reward.
Yeah, yeah. If that person ever shows up in Virginia, we got to give him 1 marble. That.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll take that.
No
back.
prizes.
Okay.
Only prize.
So I'm going to be playing Pierre Bruno 90s Merfolk list. Normally we see Merfolk just being mono blue, but we got some.
This isn't a Merfolk.
Oh. But it is going to help.
confused.
It is going to help out my Merfolk, that's for sure. And playing Vial with Luris, it kind of allows you to play pre-companion nerf. Just pay the 3. It feels like you're just putting into play when you have a Vial on 3. So
Yeah, Vial definitely helps.
Yeah.
We see that a lot in Death and Taxes archetypes. So, the same kind of idea here. And Merfolk is a deck that likes to play with a low curve. That helps your Vials.
Yep.
All your Lords are 2 mana. Silvergill Adept, which,
Yep.
sometimes looks like it costs 5, in reality costs 2.
Oh,
Works
yeah.
really well with Luris. Always nice to have, permanents that you can cast with Luris that generate additional card advantages. Silvergill
Exactly.
Adept has long been the second best card in Merfolk to Aether Vial.
Oh yeah. But if you do cast the adapt for 5, you just have to get rid of your Luris companion. That just doesn't
Yeah.
work. That's not right.
The flavor
So-
judges will come and shut that down.
Exactly. But this deck has a lot of shapeshifters in it, and I think shapeshifters are going to be pretty dang good with this new party mechanic that was released today. Did you see that?
I did see that. Unsettled Mariner definitely looking to get a boost if there are some cool cards that it can enable in Zendikar Rising 4 Modern, which, it seems like there are some powerful ones.
Agreed. I just see like Unsettled Mariner and then that new 6 mana draw 3 gain 3, but you only have to pay 2 for it. You can do that with Mutavault as well. I'm excited for that for Modern, for Pioneer. For Standard, it's going to be a completely different thing and probably not as powerful, but we'll see.
My usual MO there is I look at a card and I say, okay, if that can be properly enabled, it can be really good. And then a week later, I see if somebody has figured out how to properly enable it.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, they did it.
I'm going to try this.
Then I copy them.
Yeah. Hey, smart. You did the Luca thing first, and then you just didn't put it with Agent, so you were almost there.
Well, Endray's Forerunner is just so much more powerful.
Yeah.
It's basically Craterhoof Behemoth, and there's nothing better than Craterhoof.
Yeah, but only
Not a
one is
thing.
banned in Standard right now, Ross.
Yeah, you can't play Craterhoof Behemoth in Standard.
It is legal in Historic, though.
He gotcha.
It is?
Do you want to play What's Legal and Historic again? Because there's new sets that came out, every day. Everything's changing.
Why aren't people getting Craterhoof?
They were.
Nice zombie token.
Elves was the thing.
Back for 60.
Isn't my sideboard of that green devotion deck? Or that green ram deck?
Okay, I'm excited to start sinking my teeth into a story.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
hook people.
But I'm excited to start sinking our teeth into the show. So you
Let's
ready to
do
get it going?
I see some marbles behind me.
Yes.
So you will be on the play.
Yes, you crushed Modern yesterday. Or last week, excuse me.
It was not yesterday. I know time is an illusion.
Time is an illusion.
It was not yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can cast my spells. We don't necessarily have the best possible Merfolk draw, but this'll do.
Also, Hysteus has informed me that chat has indeed won all the view episodes.
Chat has? Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Twitch chat wins everything. And that's why we love you, Twitch chat.
I will keep this hand.
Okay. I am going to go no Merfolk to show. Here you go.
Wonderwine Hub. That's a blast from the past.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great draw. I will play Carrion.
Oh, Vader.
Pass the
Okay. That's
I
a
am
scary
being
one?
told that Wizards has confirmed that shapeshifters can only fulfill one party member, not all of them.
Really?
Yes.
That's probably for the best. That's probably for the best. Mutavault stock was about to really go through the roof. So
Do you really need 4 creatures to make those cards work?
Unless it's like the elf that has all of them.
So the elf counts for all of them, but shapeshifters
Well,
don't?
because
I
it's
think
an
they have to
ability
actually
on
say
it's an
the
ability
words, huh?
on the elf that says it counts for each one.
Oh. Yeah, that's that specific ability on that green-white elf. So what if it is just
But
a creature
changelings
type
count
that
as
has
all
two?
of those too. I don't understand how one works and not the other.
Yeah.
I think it might be a specific rule for those shapeshifters
Yeah.
to not break the mechanic.
And do we know, Twitch chat confirmed this, but is this confirmed outside? Who knows? All right, pass to you.
Oh, no, apparently I lied, and the elf only counts of 1 out of 4 too.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's just disappointing. That means...
Twitch chat, we're going to be learning slowly but surely here with the new set.
Okay, well, attack for 1.
All right.
You go to 19 and play Smuggler's Copter.
Smuggler's Copter? I
Castable with an island.
guess I better kill that, huh?
Nope.
No, don't do
Not
it.
allowed.
Just kidding. Get out of there. Let's exile
That's a tilt.
this.
Oh, I'm dead.
Did you need that? Is that good? Okay, well I'm not drawing much either here, so we're gonna start with an adept revealing this. And that's not a blue source, and I'll pass to you. You got a Spreading Seas, Ross. How does it feel?
Dirty.
Dirty
Unclean.
all over.
Unclean.
This is just hilarious to me, Rob.
That you're playing Merfolk?
I don't want to spoil it for Ross, but that's just absurd to me. They're the same. Classic.
Attack for 1.
Attacking for 1. I'm going to take it. 18.
18.
You want to sack that Mutavault?
Nope.
Okay.
I do want to fetch to 19.
Okay. Was hoping you wouldn't have another land.
And I will buy Luris.
Okay.
Fast turn.
All right. I have another land. So let's start with the Lord of Atlantis.
Yep.
And I'll attack for 3.
I will go to 16.
And one more Merfolk for the road. Your go.
Would have been better last turn. Castle.
Okay.
Play a Bloodghast.
Bloodghast, okay.
Attack or Carrion Feeder.
You've already played a land. Yeah, sure. No blocks.
You get a 17.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
All right. It's an interesting draw. What do we want to do now? All right, let's start with this. I just think this is funny. They're like the exact same thing, just not an actual reprint.
Well, no. The Master's the fixed version because you don't want to play your Lord of Atlantis in the mirror
Oh, that's
if
a good point.
they don't have Island Walk.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Touche. Yeah, your mutabolts now have Island Lock, huh?
Rob,
Okay.
why'd you have to blow up my spot like that? Corey clearly had no idea. No idea how Lord of Atlantis works with Mutavault.
To be
I
fair,
was ready to ambush him with my 3/3.
you can't block these. These have Island Lock. You have an island.
Well, it's like this, right?
All right. Sure.
Yeah, I guess now with 2 lords, they all have island walk,
Yeah.
not relevant anyway. But it could have been relevant in later games. You never know, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. You're a good guy.
So this is an attack for 8.
For 8.
I will go to 8.
I think I may adapt this. Yeah, we'll adapt.
I will go to 7.
Draw, discard. I'll discard this land, and you go.
Look, I'm just secretly paid by the Merfolk Cabal to make sure it wins.
Ooh,
So.
are you? Sounds like a fishy contract. Sounds like a fishy contract indeed. Merfolk hit hard.
Attack for 8. It's an attack for 11.
Way more, right?
I'm at
Yeah.
4.
Excellent. Other merfolks. Yeah, all merfolk. Okay.
Yeah, these are 3s, these are 4s.
Gotcha. Wait, isn't this a 4?
No.
It's all merfolk? Doesn't it count itself?
No.
Oh, it's just a summon lord? It just isn't even a merfolk?
And
Okay.
I'm sure that's what it was originally. I'm sure it's been errated since
Okay.
to say other and be a merfolk.
It is indeed a Merfolk.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it must be errated to say all other merfolk?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. I love when my cards don't do what they say. I should just pay 3 and this goes into play, right?
Yeah. So it does not look like I have nearly enough here. Got very punished by the Force of Negation because I played Mutavault on turn 2.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have double black for these Bloodghasts until 2 turns after that.
Yep.
But I assumed once I have the Copter, then I'm just pitching the Bloodghast to it, so I didn't think I needed it. And I just.
So you're saying you got wrecked? Is that what you're saying,
I
huh?
did. I forgot to check myself.
Before you riggedy wrecked yourself?
Yeah, and even if I were to make this big enough at 17, yeah,
Yep.
it's not even close. Then you have a
Definitely.
blocker.
Definitely. All right. Well, it's very clear that hashtag Team Corey have much better decks so far, are much more handsome and beautiful as far as this game 1 goes.
A lot of magic left, of
A
course.
lot of Magic left to be played, and I can't really talk because he destroyed me in Modern Week all week last week. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with sideboarding here on our user-submitted versus live show. See you soon.
Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Mono Black Copter and Luris Merfolk. On my side of things,
We call it catfish, actually.
No. We do not do that.
Can we rename this deck Catfish? Because that would be great. Rob rolls his eyes.
We do not do that.
All right. Go on.
Just for you, Corey.
Yes.
I guess you have some dismembers in your deck. Can you call it Blackened Catfish?
Ooh, I like it.
Only when you side in dismember, I guess.
Very nice.
You got
Very
the Cajun
nice.
seasoning. Okay. My sideboard plan here is to bring in every card on my sideboard that can kill a creature.
Okay. Yep. That
Which
seems like the thing
which
you
is
do against
5 of them.
Merfolk.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even though Collective Brutality is not great, it's actually good in this deck because you have plenty of things you want to pitch to it.
Okay.
I wish I would bring in every copy of Fatal Push I had and eliminate cutting some of the grindy elements of the deck because that's not what these matchups what this matchup is going to be about.
Yeah, you kind of want to be the control deck here. Right?
Yeah, if I just let you play to the battlefield, you're going to trump my creatures. Bloodcast is always bad against like creature decks, or not bad, but much weaker.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to contain their bigger creatures to start making the Bloodcast relevant. because every time you can trade a creature for a blood gas and then bring it back, that's great.
Yeah.
So I'm trimming on these elements. I don't want to flood on them too early. So 1 blood gas, 1 Gravecrawler down. Village Rites is at its best against decks with lots of removal, so you can use it in response to that removal and grind through it. Not going to be as relevant when your opponent is just putting threats onto the battlefield.
Okay.
And then cutting the 2 Call of the Death Dweller. Still have a pile of Unearths in the deck to get that Archfiend synergy going, and to bring back Luris if I need it. I don't need the calls. This is again a card that's going to function a lot better against an opponent with a lot of spot removal, and that's not what Merfolk is doing.
Okay, fair enough. And pretty minor changes from me. I think this is probably just the worst Merfolk in the deck. I don't normally care about for sure having a 1-drop. I really would just prefer Aether Vial. So I just think out of sheer power level of this compared to the rest of the deck, it's the worst. And these are the only real cards I want. Yes, you saw me get him pretty good with Spreading Seas before. I'm going to be on the draw, so it's a lot worse. But Relic and Spreading Seas can both kind of be the difference in a game all by themselves if the draw lines up well.
Yeah.
So.
And I have plenty of utility lands to target with Spreading Seas as well. Castle Lockbane, Mutavault.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't have Urborg.
Well, that's a timestamp thing.
So if I Spreading Seas and Urborg, you don't actually get the ability?
If you Spreading Seas the Urborg, then...
Because it's an island in addition to its type, right?
I know. So I know
Enchanted Land is an island, but it doesn't change the text. I would think it's an island. I think it just becomes Watery Grave.
No. That's because it definitely turns it into an island and stops it from being other things.
Okay.
And if you Spreading Seas like a Mutavault when I have an Urborg in play, the Mutavault no longer taps for black.
Okay.
But if you Spreading Seas it first and then I play an Urborg, then it taps for black.
That's confusing.
It's timestamp.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
same layer.
Long games, like, it would be like, no, that land came in after Urborg. Like, that seems like a weird rule. Yeah, confusing.
Fortunately, we have a chat to keep us in line.
That's true. Chat is the best. Speaking of chat, we got some new cards. Let's hear some questions from chat. I'm sure we got some good ones.
Yeah, Ace Oblivious wants to know, what do you think about Lotus Cobra in Standard? Does it maybe seem a little dangerous with cards like Uro in the format?
Green cards that add mana? What could go wrong when you pair it with Uro, Nature's Titan's Wrath? I think this is going to be a standard staple moving forward for a very long time. And if we had fetch lands, then this card is absolutely bananas. It does not look like that's going to be the case, so it's not going to be crazy. So it's just going to be a ramp spell that's very easy to kill. But it's a ramp spell that if you do not have a ton of lands, it's actively just really, really bad. So Lotus Cobra is a pretty high variance card, and everybody remembers it in the days where you could go Lotus Cobra into Scolding Tarn, sack it, get another land, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Brainstorm, Lightning Bolt something. It's not going to be that powerful anymore. It's not going to be the same, but it will be impactful, I would think. What do you think of that card?
I'm lower on it. Just because I think that ability to jump from 2 to 5 with a fetch land was a really important aspect of the card.
Yeah.
That was the payoff that you took for taking the risk of having a 2-mana 2/1 that either didn't do anything if you weren't hitting your land drops or got easily killed, and suddenly you're off curve because you would build your deck to try to take advantage of the acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of risk inherent with Cobra, and whenever there's a risk that you're taking, you need to get paid off with some really powerful draws that it can enable.
Yeah.
And in this environment, it looks like you're not going to get paid off as often, and that means the risk isn't going to be as worth it.
But I mean, think about this. You can go turn 2 Cobra, right? Turn 3 a land, Uro, 1 floating essentially, put another land into play, Uro again, you could play back-to-back Uros, get another land, play a Cobra, so your turn 3, you could end with 5 land in play, 2 Cobras, that's not insane.
There are payoff draws, and especially with Fabled Passage. If you go Uro, Fabled Passage on turn 3, now you've got 4 mana after the Uro to do something, so you've effectively
That's the same as just a land. Fabled Passage that doesn't come into play tapped is the same.
After an Uro will come in untapped.
Oh,
it's your 4th land.
Okay, yeah. If you're saying put it in from Uro.
Yeah. So you go land 3 on turn 3, get up to 4 mana, Uro floating 1, put in a Fabled Passage, now you're back up to 4.
Yeah.
And you've effectively gotten your 4-drop on turn 3 with Uro for free.
Yeah, and we are losing Nissa, so that's not the huge payoff, but just even getting up to the new Vivian. I think is going to be awesome. Ramping to Ugin, I'm not as... I know that's where a lot of people's brain is going to go with Cobra. Is
Yeah,
like,
that's not what Cobra's doing. Cobra
Exactly,
is getting
yeah.
you to double spell and getting you to 5 mana, maybe 6 mana really quickly.
getting you 2 card advantage planeswalkers, I
Yeah.
think, is what I want to do right away with it. And Vivian, the new Vivian, is where my brain goes immediately, just because I think that's going to be a powerful card when Nis is gone.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
And if you remember Lotus Cobra from its initial run in Standard, the decks that it was best in were curving quickly into Sovereigns of Lost Alara or Inferno Titan.
What was Sovereign again?
That was the one that found Eldrazi Conscription.
Oh, yeah.
Bant Mythic.
Yes. Oh, that deck was nice.
Yeah, and
That
you
was
would have
nice.
turn 2 Lotus Cobra into, or it was turn 1 Noble Hierarch into turn 2 Lotus Cobra, fetch land, Knight of the Reliquary, turn 3 Sovereigns. So,
Yeah.
they were aggro decks that were using that explosive potential of Lotus Cobra. They weren't ramping into some way over the top threat. That's
Sure.
not what Cobra does, because when you're ramping into an over the top threat, you need permanent sources of ramp, right? Otherwise, you have to do it all in one turn, and that just takes too much.
It's going to be
You can
interesting.
get to 4, 5, and 6 mana really quickly. So that's what Lotus Cobra is doing.
Okay, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm just starting to get that feeling again, like the magical Christmas land. We get to talk about new cards. So one more question here about some new cards, and then we'll start
yeah,
this game.
still kind of about the mana.
Okay.
Heptagon 24.
My bud.
So we're getting 6 new dual lands in this set, and they're flip lands. So yeah, Ross is ranting about that, I'm sure.
I know this is a first that our audience is hearing. Sometimes Ross rants whenever he gets his grumbly old man vibes going, and new sets is the pure grumbly old man vibes for
I
Ross.
rant when people do asinine things.
Oh, okay, of course, yeah.
So
6 out of 10 of a dual land cycle is really high on that list.
and we're losing the full cycle of shock lands. So in Standard, do you foresee maybe like just 1 and 2 color decks being the majority, and not so many Soul Tie and just 3 color?
Oh, but then what are we going to do when we're asked, what about Sultai?
So they play 4 Triomes.
People will still ask.
Yeah.
And the fact that we have Triomes and...
So we're losing just shock duels, right? That's right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, you've got Triomes, you've got Temples, and we have Fable Passage still.
And the flip duels, right? That's
Yeah.
going to be our mana base so far that we know? Okay.
And then, the different other fixers that are around.
Yeah.
So that, to me, points just towards slower mana bases that are playing more Temples.
Okay.
Because those are a powerful land cycle. Or you find the color combinations that let you play a lot of the new transform duels.
Yeah.
And if you can play 2 or 3 of those in your color combination along with Fable Passage, you can make a 3-color deck work.
So they are not Fabled Passage-able, though, right? These lands are not searchable?
They don't have land. They don't have types.
Cool.
They're
Yeah,
basic.
and so the one thing that looks to me is if we look at all of the color pairings they have, we don't see Simic, luckily. Simic was just good enough. I think we need to tone down that. But we are seeing basically every aggro pair. So being able to lean on just maybe aggro decks being good again is a direction I want to go for the set. So I'm personally pretty happy with them, and I think they're pretty awesome lands. The one thing I don't like is just the flip side cards. I hate that for mostly drafting, but we're not going to be doing too much IRL drafting
Yeah, you don't have to worry about
for
that,
Pro Tours and stuff. So I think I'm okay with that, but I hated that when you're sitting down at your Pro Tour draft and be like, this is my flip card. That was a personal pet peeve of mine, but the lands are cool.
I actually liked it. Once that happened and I could monitor the table, it just let me figure out exactly what everyone was doing.
Yeah.
And that always helped. But
yeah, maybe I just don't enjoy having to be that connected to the whole table. I like focusing on you and you, Because you can usually get a good enough tell. All right, so keep those questions coming in. I know there's a lot of them with all these new cards and fun stuff happening, but we're also here to play some Magic,
So you say.
Well, you didn't play very much Magic that first game, so.
Okay, well, I'll try to play some more in this game.
Okay.
This is a nice hand.
Well, this hand doesn't. So once again, not the nut draw or anything, but I'll keep it.
Okay, I will start on an Archfiend's Vessel.
You would.
That's the turn. I think that's going to be a pretty critical card in this matchup.
Yeah.
Ori's deck does not deal with the 5/5 very well.
Yeah, 1/1 lifelink is pretty tough for me to deal with, dude. Okay, your
go. Smush for 1.
All right, 19 to 21.
And let's see if this works this time. I'll play a Smuggler's Copter.
Smuggler's Copter.
20, you get in the swamp.
All right, that resolves.
Sweet, pass turn.
All right. I have a feeling this game is going to be harder with you having that very powerful magic card.
This is the card that ties the whole room together.
All right. What is my best play? I think my best play is your go.
I will crew Smuggler's Copter.
Okay.
I will.
Beginning combat. I'll tap it.
Okay. I would like to Village Rites Archfiend's Vessel.
Okay.
Draw 2. I would like to Unearth Archfiend's Vessel.
So you're just going to get a 1/1, right? That's all. That's all you're going to do. I guess I'll let it resolve then. It's just a 1/1. Yeah.
Well, trigger.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. I guess
Okay.
I had no choice.
Got a 5/5 Grizzly Brand.
All right.
And play a Mutavault.
Okay. Hate it. Hate it all. Hate it all. Well, that was on time top deck.
Is it Force of Negation?
Pretty close. Pretty close. Okay. So here's the question: what do I want to try to hit a 4th land next turn, which I kind of think I want to do by playing one of these cards that draws me a card? Do I want to try to get just this down? That seems like the worst play to me. So yeah, I think I want to just contain the Mutavault.
I was immediately regretting playing this Mutavault.
All right.
As I did.
Spreading sees that.
Yep.
Draw and Relic right on time. Hit you. And your go. Still wildly behind, but...
Okay, well, gonna have to do this slightly awkwardly, but I will play a Bloodghast.
Okay.
I will Crew Copter.
Sure.
I will attack for 8 and loot.
Okay.
I will discard a Bloodghast.
Okay, I'll go to 11.
Brings you to 11. Then I have a Swamp, return Bloodghast,
All right.
and a Thoughtseize.
No! There you go.
Oh, yes. Harbinger. Definitely take
I mean, your pick. What would you like?
I will take the Harbinger.
All right. Done?
Yeah. So I've got you at 11, me at 18.
I don't think I'm going to be at 11 for very long, because I don't think I'm going to be in this game for too many more turns. Let's do this, revealing one of those 3. You pick.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to target you. And your go. Anyone's game.
Anyone.
If that one person is Ross Merriam.
I will play a Stitcher Splatter.
Okay. Okay.
Filter.
Sure. Sure. This deck does look pretty sweet, I must say.
Ooh. I will play March Flats. Trigger Bloodghast.
In response, exile.
In response, fetch.
Okay.
I hope I have a Swamp. Yeah. Might seem a little bit weird that this deck has fetch lands when it's a monocolor deck, but they are specifically for the Bloodghast synergies.
Yeah. All right.
Can both play well against Relic, but also play well with Carrion Feeder.
Okay.
A bunch of sacrifices.
I do love that.
Really?
I really miss the... I still have those Karen Feeder lines in my head from Hogak. You know, that was an easy deck to learn, but a really tough deck to master to get every single one of those little interactions down.
Yep.
And I really found that pretty fun. Okay. Even though that was one of the worst Pro Tours I've ever played in my life. But
So I got 17 from the fetch.
Okay.
Bloodghast comes in. We'll use that to crew this copter.
Yep.
I will get in with those and loot.
Okay.
And I'll discard a Gravecrawler.
Okay. I'm going to concede. I will hit the right-click concede button.
Yeah. There you see, I didn't really have to be very interactive that game because I had my synergies going on full blast.
Yep.
It was getting Copter going and drawing extra cards with that and generating a position and the Archfiend's Vessel.
Yep.
And having all of that on the play so I could even take advantage, like further take advantage of that aggression It's a little bit too much for you to handle.
Yeah, that was tough. And honestly, it just kind of seems like both of our decks are just very, very proactive and pretty tough at controlling the other person. So the play is probably going to be pretty big. But it just seems like at Bear Mace knows how to control bears and how to build a pretty good deck there. That list looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, Archfiend's Vessel is a nice one, something that you can like mill off a Stitcher supplier and then have Unearth at the ready. I'm not sure I like Call. I do think the deck needs a little bit more interaction.
Yeah, I think Call is what you played because we didn't have Unearth. You know, Unearth, especially when pre-companion nerfs, Unearthing Luris was just so busted, and you know, still the case here. Both our decks are pretty mana hungry, so it's pretty tough to use if I don't have Vial. You know, easier if I have Vial, but
yeah, you should have once again not have Vial.
I really, really am bad at drawing that card. I once again will keep my hand, and I'm once again kind of disappointed about it.
Well, you are playing Merfolk.
Yeah. Are you dissing the fish?
I do that on the regular.
Okay.
I will be mulliganing my hand.
Ooh.
Nice little 6-lander.
Excellent. You know what that means. More times for some new questions here.
Let's do it.
All right. And chat, I want a question for you. What are you more excited for? I'm just genuinely curious. The D&D set, the Wizard set that reminded me a lot of Harry Potter.
Yes.
Or what was the other one that was really
set?
Or yeah, the Viking set. What do you think, chat? I think I'm leaning more towards the D&D one. I'm just curious. I'm not even necessarily a huge D&D fan, but I'm just really one of my best friends is a huge D&D guy and you know religiously tries to get me to play. But I never really did, so I'll be interested to see some of the comparisons and talk to him about it.
All right, so Esteus wanted to know, given that we're going to be getting lands that you can choose to play as a land or as a spell or a creature or something, how will you end up judging whether or not those can go in a deck? Like, are you more willing to play a kind of mediocre spell if it can also be a land in situations where that might help out, or do you think that just the strength of each side will just have to be good on each side?
You want to start with this one?
I think that mechanic is very powerful. Any way to mitigate inconsistency is something I like quite a bit.
Yep.
So I suspect that even if the spell side is not something that you would play on its own, but it has to be close. At least.
Yeah.
You can't play just nonsense because then it's effectively a land. Mm-hmm. But if it's a borderline playable card, then I think that'll be fine.
Yeah, if it's like any kind of backdoor removal, those are going to be insane.
Oh yeah, any sort of narrow effect would be perfectly fine, like a naturalized kind of card, naturalized forest, even if it was like 3 mana.
Yeah. So it is going to be very contextual to the cards, but we see it even in limited, not so much standard, but it does pour over into standard a little bit. Even cycling, cycling is something that it's a mechanic that prevents you from having these really bad draws, prevents you from having these non-games that we kind of have been talking about before the show started. And this flip card thing kind of reminds me of that as well. It's just more ways so that you're not super flooded or you're not super mana screwed, which I think is good for the game.
Yeah. I think that mechanic is just really powerful.
Yeah.
Expect them to see play.
And expect all your decks to be about 50% lands now. 50, maybe even maybe we might even touch into like the 31 range or maybe even the 42 range if you're playing a Precious Bird Serpent.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've been touching the 36 plus range for a while now. So.
Yeah. I'm experienced in the plus 30 mana bases, that's for sure. All right, how's your second hand?
Much, much better.
Okay.
So I think it's pretty clear that we have to get rid of this one. So
I got a relic. Wrong artifact. Here you go.
Okay, I'm going to go to 19 for a swamp and attempt a Thoughtseize.
In response, target you. All right, there you go.
I will select the Unsettled Mariner.
Pay 1. You just said I will target the Mariner. I'm reading the card right now. Pay 1.
No.
All right. Good argument. All right. So you are at 17.
Yeah.
I'm at 20. Okay. I'm going to play a Lord, and I'm going to get that card out of your graveyard. Here you go. Yeah, Relic is not Aether Vial here, but the Vial wouldn't have even been that good, so Relic actually seems decent here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Relic solid. No Force of Negation. That's good.
No Force. I will play this.
Unlike you, I draw the card my deck is built around.
Oh,
You've had
good.
Vial 0 times.
Good
Copter 3
for
times.
you.
Perfect.
All right, we are going to play another fish.
That's pretty good.
Tag you for 3.
I go to 14.
And your go.
Might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Good, good.
Oof.
Man, I just saw the irony of having Relic right now. I'm relicking a relic. Huh. Nice. That's an old joke, Ross. Because you're a whole 2 years older than me.
Age is just a number. Numbers are made up, just like time.
What kind of life do you live?
A nonsensical one?
Yeah.
You have 2 in hand? Or?
2 in hand, yeah.
One of which is Harbinger.
Bang.
Oh, man. I've not drawn a 3rd land, and that's where I'm squeezed now. So I kind of want to leave back this Copter to block, but I also want to be attacking to try to hit land drops.
Ooh, yeah.
And I've got some disruption in my hand, but it's going to be hard to deploy it all. Maybe I just take this turn off to really hammer home the disruption.
It's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one. If I knew I had a land on top, it would be less tricky.
You want me to check for you?
No, I want chat to check for me.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't trust you. I trust them.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how what the best way to do this is. I do think I want to hit land, so I'm going to try to do that.
Okay.
So I'll start with Carrion Feeder.
Okay.
I will crew and attack.
Okay.
Loot. That is not great.
Excellent. Excellent.
Discard an Archfiend's Vessel.
Hit it.
You take 3.
Yep, 17.
Push the Master.
Okay. Dead.
You can go.
So now the question is, do I want to pop Relic right now? It's not great, but I would like to hit land drops as well. Yeah, we're going to do it. Don't feel great about it. All cards.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
great, too.
Draw. Okay, that's pretty heinous.
I like that. I like heinous draws for Corey.
All right, let's put that back to your hand and attack for 2.
I go to 12.
Your go.
I'll play a Stitcher Supplier.
Okay. All bricks. Excellent. Excellent.
Crew and attack for 3. Loot.
Okay. 14.
Wow. Just wow.
Just wow, he says. Okay.
So you're at 14, I'm at 12.
Yep.
I am going to Thoughtseize you.
Thoughtseize. All right. Don't want to force that because I don't really care about these cards. And I don't mind you taking 2.
I will take a Harbinger.
All right.
Brings me to 10.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. Let's get a good one. That's not bad. Don't really want to bounce Stitcher Supplier anyways, so we'll play an Adapt, reveal this. And beats for 5.
I'm at 5.
Your go. Drum roll.
Smuggler's Copter.
Smuggler's Copter, huh? Do I care about another one of those? Not really. And I guess if you go land creature, then you have 2 blockers. That's not good enough, I don't think. So I just don't want you to be able to Fatal Push. Yeah, sure. That resolves.
Yeah, I'm going to go to 4 for a swamp and play Carrion Feeder.
All right.
Pass the turn.
Okay, I think I got you.
Got another Lord.
Yep. Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, only 2 blockers, right?
Yeah, that doesn't quite do it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess it doesn't. Okay, maybe...
It does still give you good attacks.
Yeah, it gives me good attacks, but I'm going to see if I have a better thing here.
I don't think I could win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just everything having 3 powers kills your creatures. That's just got to be good enough. Yeah, we'll still go for that. And attack.
So I will crew both copters.
Okay.
Well, actually, I guess I'm only going to crew 1 with the Carrion Feeder.
Okay.
Because the other copter is going to die to the 4/4 anyway.
Okay.
So we can just go make that trade. This block's here.
Okay. So yeah, you're going to take 3. You get to loot.
So yeah, I get to loot. And then before damage, I will sack the supplier to the Carrion Feeder and mill 3.
All right. And then you're going to take
and I go to 1.
Go to 1, and your go. You can't beat Merfolk and Summon Lords. That's a tribal deck that that's just too much.
Supplier, mill 3.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a little bit too late on these lands.
Yeah, too many non-blockers there. Yeah, I got a nice one to follow it up too.
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 blockers this time.
All right. Fish, take it down.
Need to hit that land earlier.
Yeah.
Stumbled a bit. And the mulligan, I actually had to put back an Unearth. If I had the Unearth, then I would have thought seized the Force of Negation and made a 5/5 demon.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot better at containing your board.
Yeah, and I mean, I had Harbinger and Trickster, so it wouldn't have even been foolproof, but it would have been good.
Yeah, it still would have been tough.
Yeah.
I would have definitely bought myself some more time, but still been in a tough spot.
Agreed. All right, well, that's the first round of our user-submitted decks, and it looks like Pierre Bruno 90 has got the better one so far.
Yeah.
Or it was just I had the die roll, and everybody else was going first dominated. So
That's what happened there. I needed a little bit more disruption. The 1 fatal push, not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're on the draw, that's one way for you to come back is just, trading up in mana, just fatal pushing my 2 drops when you're also playing 2 drops on turn 3 or something like that.
Honestly, one more removal spell probably would have been, put me into a pretty good spot.
Agreed. Okay, well, we're gonna head to our next round pretty soon, but Rob, let's take a couple questions from you if you're flooded with new card questions.
Yeah, I've got a few here.
Okay.
We've had a few questions about Confounding Conundrum.
Okay.
This is the enchantment that costs a colorless and a blue, ETB draw card, and has a ton of other text.
Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter the battlefield under their control this turn, they return a land they control to its owner's hand.
Okay.
So against Uro, against Fabled Passage, that's a really awkward one. It can really punish your opponents, and the fact that it cantrips means it's just an early play.
Yeah.
That doesn't cost you much. Not sure if that's not a card that I can see myself siding in, but it's a card I can see myself playing in a Yorion control deck.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just if they draw or if they put extra lands into play, they go back. It doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, and not necessarily the land that they put into play. They return
choose
any
one?
land they want.
Yeah, that doesn't seem playable to me.
That ends up being awkward if your opponent has the transform lands that are spells in the back and they play them early. And
yeah,
then
you get to bring them back, right?
They can use Uro or Fable Passage to bring them back to their hand and effectively draw a
and
spell.
Then play them. Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see that if there's not much worry of that Punisher case, which I think is a death knell for this card.
Yeah.
Then I can see Yorion decks playing this.
Okay.
Especially control-oriented Yorion decks, but even then, it doesn't seem great.
Yeah, I could see maybe some world where a control-ish blue-black deck that's playing a lot of 1-for-1 removal and a lot of 1-for-1 disruption plays that to just contain ramp strategies, because ramp is still going to be good, and it's just a way to slow them down and make it even footing. But you're also just committing a card, and a card is huge.
Well, it draws a card when it enters.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it
okay. All right. That's not so bad. I thought it was just the...
Yeah, it cantrips, so that's an important... Yeah, without the cantrip, it would be completely unplayable.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. I was like, I get the idea that it's supposed to stop these ramp decks, but yeah, I mean, if it cantrips, Yorion can blink. Exactly. I like that.
So, but it's a pretty low impact card, and when you think about a control deck against a ramp deck, usually the control deck isn't fighting the ramp.
Yeah.
Because you're not fast enough to kill them while they're still just making land drops naturally.
Yeah.
So there's no point in fighting the ramp unless you're able to pressure them. And so they're fighting the threats. So this card kind of fights along an axis that the control decks that it seems to fit in don't want to fight along. But if you can, have a control deck that skirts that line between control and tempo with things like Brazen Borrower or some other cheap threats,
or Dance of the Manse. I could see maybe an Esper Dance of the Manse kind of thing, that
now you're
already
developing
draws
other
cards.
synergies with it.
Exactly. That seems kind of sweet.
That's another way to go.
Was there a specific question regarding to that card, or just what we thought about it, or?
Yeah, just what do you think it's playable in standard?
Yeah, I mean it's. I am going to do this so many times. This was always my biggest pitfall when testing for new Pro Tours. When the set rotates, it's like I'll be suggesting to Brad, why don't we just play this? That rotate card. Like, oh yeah. Well, let's play this card for sure. And it's like, that also rotated. You're stupid. So if I ever just suggest a card that is going to rotate, just say I'm stupid. Fill the Brad role, but I think Dance of the Manse is still in.
Fill that role.
I think Dance of the Manse is still in. We'll go with that. So one more question and we'll head to break here, Rob.
Yeah, you had mentioned this pre-show along with Lotus Cobra as well, but the new Omnath, Locus of Creation, which is a red, green, white, blue for a 4/4 legendary elemental. When Omnath, Locus of Creation enters the battlefield, draw a card. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. If this is the first time. If it's the second time, add red, green, white, blue. If it's the third time, Omnath deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control.
Yeah, I love that card. And honestly, my first deck that I'm building is a Lotus Cobra Uro Omnath deck, and I'm just going to see what happens, 36 lands maybe in my 60 card deck, and just...
Oh, Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Yeah, could do that. Because don't we lose a lot of the elementals? Risen Reef and stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah. Those all rotate.
So there's just not any elemental support. It's just an elemental, as in it's creature type that doesn't really matter. So yeah, there's not going to be able to pair it with the things that would make a lot of sense. But just as a powerful creature, and Lotus Cobra still adds any mana, right? So I mean, we can play some Triomes.
Lotus Cobra, Fable Passage, some Triomes. You can play Catria over Ogren.
Yeah.
And these color combinations. Yeah, I think your mana will be workable.
Yeah.
So I think the question for me is just how consistently you're going to take advantage of Omnath. How many because you're going to need more than just Uro and Fable Passage to have extra lands entering the battlefield. So Dryad makes sense because it also fixes your mana.
Yeah.
You're going to play a very high land count anyway, and you probably need even more than that. And you don't
Cultivate, right?
Cultivate, that one works, yep.
Yeah, Cultivate, Fabled Passage, Uro, I already think is almost enough. Dryad is definitely interesting.
Chat wants you to play Azusa.
Oh my god, all right, we had a good show. I'm not getting on Azusa runs again. No.
I'm going to be honest, though. I glossed over this card on the preview list.
Yeah.
Because I literally just assumed that it was a reprint of the previous Omnath.
Really?
I sort of saw the colors. It was 4 mana. I was like, oh, it's just Omnath again. It's just a completely different Omnath with a bunch of sweet abilities.
Completely different. And man, the second land of adding 4 mana, I think, is absurd.
Yeah, you untap with it's a 4 mana spell. So you can say go like turn 2 Cobra, turn 3 Omnath.
Yep.
Turn 4, you've got 3 lands in play.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with an Uro, you go land. Now you have 4 mana from that and 4 mana from the Omnath. That's Ugin.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah.
That's turn 4 Ugin.
And if you add Fabled Passage into it, what was the third land ability again? Like win the game?
No, 4 damage to each opponent and
each of their planeswalkers or something. So like that one's actually not that great. I mean,
each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control.
Wow. I mean, in late games that could just be absolutely backbreaking.
So there's that. I know we talked about how Lotus Cobra doesn't really go with Ugin, and it doesn't really, but Omnath might be a bridge between those two cards.
Yeah.
So I agree with you that it's that second ability that's scariest.
And it's the one that's kind of easy to enable. Like the fact that Fabled Passage does it is kind of insane to me.
Yeah. So even without Uro, if you just go turn 2 Cobra, turn 3 Omnath, turn 4 you play Fabled Passage, it's your 4th land. You have 4 untapped lands now, and you've made 4 mana with the Omnath.
Plus you get 2 from Cobra.
Oh yeah, and 2. That's 10.
You can just make 10 mana with just a Fabled Passage after you play Cobra and Omnath.
This Fabled Passage lands.
What kind of X stuff is there to take advantage of? Just like Stonecoil Serpent, is that it?
I don't know. There's gotta be
wow.
something.
Okay, well, I'll be heading into the lab with that one. Oh, yes. Jeskai Ultimatum.
Which can even trigger the Omnath further, right? Like the if you do the Genesis Ultimatum,
Genesis
lands off of it.
Yeah, Genesis Ultimatum can go and get Ugin and stuff too. Yep. All right, dibs. I got my first deck with
Omnath Ultimatums.
Oh, well, we just created a masterpiece here with chat here, so that's awesome.
Masterpiece Theater 3000. We're in.
Okay, well, you keep those brain juices still flowing. We love ideas for new decks. We're going to be working on them tonight, tomorrow, to get ready for a preview show already on Thursday. So if you got good ideas, feel free to send them our way. But we are going to take a short break, and we are going to come back with round number 2 here on Versus Live with our user-submitted decks. So see you in a second.